Thank you very much for coming. I think we're okay. Just waiting for the screen to turn on my side. Okay. Can everybody hear me? I hope so. Oops. There we go. Okay. Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming. Yes, I totally understand. Yeah, it's been a very long week here. Ah, hello, thank you for coming. There we go. Welcome, welcome. Okay. Yes, so for those of you who are in the Tokyo area, or actually anywhere in Japan, if you're in Japan, there is a big typhoon on its way from the south to the north, so I'm sure everybody is aware of that. Has anyone experienced the typhoon so far? Here in Tokyo, we are still waiting for it to hit, so it might be tomorrow, it might be the day after, we're not really sure. If anyone has any information, please let us know. I would love to know. All right. Thank you very much, though. Thank you for coming on this busy week. Busy and rainy week. Okay. All right. So for today, we are going to talk about part six of the TOEIC test, which is the second part of the reading section. All right. So for those of you who are just signing in and joining us, we are going to be using this book one more time for today. All right. So again, you don't need a CD for today. You're just going to use your textbook. All right. Okay. Great. Thank you very much for coming. I think we can get started. Maybe more people will join us in a couple of minutes. All right, but let's start with a couple of points about things to keep in mind for part 6 of the TOEIC test. All right, so the first thing to keep in mind, very, very similar to yesterday. If you've taken the TOEIC before, you will probably notice there are quite a few similarities between part 5 and part 6. So there's going to be a large focus on grammar and choosing the correct word or phrase to complete the sentences from a reading passage. All right, and while we're doing that, we should try and keep in mind how fast we are going when we are answering those questions. So yesterday, I talked briefly about spending no more than 30 minutes on part 5. Today, I'm actually going to be a little bit stricter, and I'm going to suggest for part 6 that you should spend no more than 30 seconds per question in part 6. Part 6 is considerably shorter than part 5, as you probably know if you've been studying or if you've taken the test before. So trying to keep it to about 30 seconds per question sounds difficult, but it's very, very important that you leave yourself enough time for part 7, because part 7 is worth a lot of marks, and some people actually find part 7 easier than part 5 and 6. So it's very, very beneficial to move on to part 7 as quickly as possible. All right, so don't spend too much time on part 5 and part 6. I have heard people suggest that you could do part 5 and part 6 in 30 minutes. So altogether, part 5 and part 6, you could spend no more than 30 minutes on both sections together. That kind of depends on your personal speed, though, so I won't enforce that. I won't tell you that's what you should do. However, you could set that as a goal for yourself, because it is doable. It is possible to do part 5 and part 6 together in 30 minutes. All right, so just something to keep in mind in terms of timing. Okay, great. So I will be trying to enforce this 30-second per question rule for today once we start getting into the questions. All right. Something else to keep in mind are the kinds of reading texts that you can expect from part 6. All right, so we've got letters and emails, for example. We've got web pages. Let me get out of the way. Web pages. We've got announcements and memos. So those are probably your most common types of reading texts that you can expect to have to deal with in part 6. All right, and an extra suggestion for today, a little bit of homework or something to consider. The vocabulary, grammar, and phrases for part 5 and part 6 are actually usually taken from high-frequency word lists. Or I should switch that around, word lists of high-frequency words. So words that are used very, very commonly. All right, so those are the kinds of words and phrases that they are testing you on in the TOEIC. You can actually find lists of high-frequency words on the internet. So let me send you a link here of a example of a high-frequency word list. All right, so if you're joining us, please have a look in the comment section. I hope this works. Oh, it says I'm not allowed to post links. Oh no. Okay, I will find a way around that. If I cannot post this link, you can actually do a search yourself for high-frequency words. All right, this is the expression that you're after, high-frequency. And you could say academic words as well. All right, does that work? No, it's not going. Okay, I will find a way to post the link. Yeah, YouTube doesn't like people posting links. Sorry. But basically, you can do a search. First of all, please do a search for high-frequency words. You could also do a search for AWL, which is a academic word list, AWL. So you can do a search for an AWL, academic word list. And then after that, for homework, you could practice writing sentences using the different grammatical forms of the high frequency and academic words. So for example, if you have a list in front of you, you can pick a word, any word from the list, and basically try a couple of different grammar structures. So for example, if I choose the word adequate, which is an adjective, the word adequate from an AWL list, all right, so I could start by writing a sentence or thinking of a sentence using the word adequate. So for example, studying an hour a day is more than adequate for most people. So for example, studying an hour a day is more than adequate. So that's a nice sentence using adequate as an adjective. Then I would move on and choose another form of the word adequate. For example, adequately, which is the adverb. So then I can think adequately. Okay, so I make a new sentence there. I want, ooh, where did my chat go? Here we go. One more time. I want to adequately prepare for my test. I want to adequately prepare for my test. All right, so now I'm using it as an adverb, and so on and so on. So if you find that list, you can check the different ways of using the word, different grammar forms, grammatical forms of the academic words, and practice writing some sentences on your own. That way it'll make it a little bit easier to identify what kind of word is needed in those blanks in the TOEIC section on the TOEIC test. All right, so just something that you can keep in mind for your own studying purposes. All right, thank you very much. Okay, So again, welcome to everybody who is joining us today. If you just signed in, you can leave me a comment in the comment section on this side of the video. To do that, you will have to log into YouTube, all right? So if you don't have an account, don't worry, that's okay. You can still follow along even if you're not signed in, all right? But if you have a question or a comment, please leave it in the comment section on this side. All right, and for those of you who are joining me for the second or third or fourth or fifth time, thank you for coming back. It's great to see some familiar names in the chat section. All right, cool. Okay, let's get started. So if everybody has their textbook, which one more time, let me just show you in case you just arrived. So here's our textbook. Please turn to the part 6. Part 6 for the first TOEIC test. All right, TOEIC test, part 6. Let me just double check the page number here. All right, I think everybody's got it ready already. Okay, part 6. Da-da-da. All right, it should be page 52 in your textbook for part 6. All right, so again, there's no CD required. So what we're going to do is try one reading passage at a time, okay? Each reading passage has 3 questions, 3 blanks that we need to deal with. Okay, so I will keep track of the time. I will give you about 1.5 minutes in total to get through one reading passage. So that gives you 30 seconds per question, all right? Sounds a little bit fast, but one final thing that you can keep in mind while you're working on this today are a couple of steps about how to approach this reading passage. So the first thing you can do is figure out the type of format of the reading passage. So basically just have a really quick look and try to determine what kind of reading text are we doing here. Is it a letter? Is it a web page? Is it a memo? What am I looking at? All right, so that should give you a general idea of what to expect in terms of formatting. For example, if it's a letter, you can expect to see some names at the top, like dear such and so, and then signing off at the bottom, yours sincerely, such and so. All right, so that should give you an idea. There will be an introduction, there'll be a body of the letter, there'll be a conclusion. So it gives you an idea of where to look for information. All right, so first, figure out the type of format. All right, the second thing you can do is check the questions. All right, so after that, you can go right to the questions. You don't have to read the whole thing top to bottom. All right, I know some other people might recommend doing that. I'm going to say you don't have to do that. All right, the second thing you can do is go right to the question. Once you've established what sort of passage you're looking at, go right to the question. And then the third thing you can do, there we go. Third thing you can do is search around the question for the context and then the response. Okay, so what does that mean? Basically, have a look at the questions and then work outward from the questions. So start with the blank. Where is the blank? Have a look at that sentence, very similar to part 5. Have a look at that sentence and try to figure it out grammatically and from context. If that's not enough, you can work outward. So look at the sentence before it and the sentence after it. If that's not enough information, keep going. So even before that and after that. So eventually you might have to read the whole thing. That's true. You might have to read the whole thing to find the answers for part 6. However, you don't have to start by reading from top to bottom. All right, that's what we can try to do for today. Work outward from the question. All right, good luck. Again, if you have any questions about this technique, just leave me a comment, leave me a question in the comment section. All right, let's get started. So I hope everyone is looking at part 6 for today. All right, I'm gonna get my timer and you've got 1.5 minutes to try questions 141, 142, and 143. All right, when you have the answers, feel free to put them in the comment section and we can check them together. All right, you can leave a comment once you have the answers. Okay, ready? Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. Go ahead. Okay, that was a minute and a half. That was a minute and a half, so I'm going to cut you off there. All right. Oh, if you're just joining us, thank you very much for coming. All right, we're working on part 6 of TOEIC for today. Thank you for coming. Okay, so if you have the answers, you can leave them in the comment section. All right, but let's go ahead and talk about the proper answers for the first reading passage. All right, so the first reading passage was a letter, as you probably established from the question and from the format as well. All right, so let's have a quick look. So the first blank is, although most of your items have shipped, the full spectrum desk lamp model B07 is temporarily out of stock. All right, so we've got a couple of options, A, B, C, or D. So the correct answer is B. The correct answer is B, 141. All right, so your items have already shipped. So again, have shipped would be fine. We wouldn't have to add anything to that to create a full sentence. So already is just a phrase that's used to describe something that has finished in the past, often to stress the fact that it has happened earlier than expected, earlier than anticipated. So, oh yeah, we already shipped your package. It's done. We did it nice and early. We did it very quickly. All right, so that's the one that fits the situation the best in that case. All right, moving on, 142. Any ideas? A, B, C, or D? 142 is A. All right, 142 is A, to substitute. So let's have a look at that sentence. We would be happy to substitute a similar item of your choice. All right, so we're using an infinitive, in this case, to substitute, which is often used when you're offering something politely. So, oh yes, I would be happy to help you. I would be happy to help you with that issue. I would be happy to substitute a new item, for example. It's the same grammar. So when you're being extra polite and offering something, people will often use an infinitive verb in that case with to. All right. So D might have looked tempting because the grammar is okay. However, it would have completely changed the meaning in terms of the customer giving or substituting something for the store, which doesn't really make sense in that context. All right, so grammatically it was okay, but it doesn't work in this situation. All right, and then finally, 143, A, B, C, or D. It was D, meanwhile. All right, so a couple things that might have been able to help you with this one. Meanwhile, in this situation, is often used at the end of a letter. You might also be familiar with while rather than meanwhile. So those are often used in very similar circumstances. All right. So meanwhile is the only one from A, B, C, or D. It's the only one where it's suggesting that two things happen at the same time. So, for example, we appreciate your patience and hope to serve you in a timelier manner in the future. So that will happen. We want to serve you. At the same time, you can contact us if you have any questions. So meanwhile, please contact us if you have any questions. You can do those together. The other options, A, B, and C, all of those sound very similar to the conjunction but. So it kind of sounds, for example, instead, besides, in contrast. That sounds very separate from the previous statement. I appreciate your patience, but please contact us. That doesn't really make any sense in a letter situation. All right, so the best one here would be meanwhile. All right, good work. It's a lot more complex maybe than parts of part 5. All right, nice job so far. Moving on. All right, I will check 6. And again, if you have any ideas about the responses, if you're feeling brave and you want to share, please put them in the comment section. All right, that way I know which ones are most difficult for you. Okay, and that way I can focus my attention on the tricky ones. All right, go ahead. Ready, go. Okay, great, sorry to interrupt. I'm gonna cut you off after a minute and a half. All right, so hopefully you made it through the next reading passage and hopefully you found the answers for 144, 145, 146. Okay, let's check together. 144, all right. Any ideas? Again, you can leave them in the comment section. Let's have a look at that first statement. So, according to our records, your membership at the end of December. All right, so this is a tricky one. This is something that is different than part 5, all right, because when you look at A, B, C, and D, you have two choices that would work perfectly in this context. So it could be A, your membership will expire at the end of December in the future, or it could be your membership expired at the end of December. All right, either one of those sounds okay. The problem is we don't know when this letter is being written. So we have to keep reading. That's what I mean by expanding outward from the question. If you start with the question, you can get rid of C and D. So we already know C and D are no good. So we have A and B, and now we have to expand outward and find out when was this letter written. All right, was it before December or after December? All right, so you can leave 144. We'll come back to that. Okay, let's move on to 145. Let's have a look. So this reduced rate still includes full something of all of our state-of-the-art facilities. All right, so we need a noun. That's quite clear. However, that doesn't really help us because A, B, C, and D are all nouns. So grammatically, we're in a little bit of trouble. So we need to look at the context instead. All right, so simply 145 is B. Sorry, let me write that down. 145 is B. Hey, a nice response. Okay. Oh, thank you, thank you. Looks good. Yes, perfect, perfect. 145 is B. So it includes full use of all of our state-of-the-art facilities. All right, the other ones just simply don't make sense in terms of the meaning of the word. So a fair would refer to some kind of money. So full money, that doesn't really work. Practice, you can't really practice state-of-the-art facilities. You can use the facilities, you don't practice the facilities. And same with permission. Permission just doesn't work in this situation. So yes, you can make full use of all of our state-of-the-art facilities. Awesome job. All right, and 146, let's have a look. 146 is C. Very nice. 146 is C. All right, so we will be unveiling an enlarged downtown center. So it's pretty clear we need an adjective in that case because we have a downtown center. So center, downtown center is our noun. So we could use an adjective before that. The other ones are either verbs or nouns. So we can't have another noun, we can't have another verb. So it's an adjective that's okay in that case. So an enlarged downtown center. Very nice. Okay, but we still don't have 144, all right? So we can keep reading. Right at the bottom, there's another reference to December. So it says, please stop into the office by December 31st to ensure that your membership continues uninterrupted. Yay, there's our answer. So the membership has not been interrupted. The membership is still okay at the moment because we're still before December. The letter is being written sometime before December. So if we go back up to 144, that means the answer is A. All right, very nice. The answer is A for 144. So they're talking about a future possible situation. It will expire at the end of December. Okay, very circular, very confusing. All right, nice job though. All right, again, if you've got any questions, please leave them in the comment section and I will get back to them as soon as I receive your message. All right, great. Moving on, nice job so far. Next part, please have a look at 147, 148, and 149. All right, I will give you a minute and a half to read through this passage. All right, ready? Go ahead. Okay, sorry to interrupt. I'm gonna cut you off there. So that was a minute and a half. Okay, let's talk about it. 147, first of all. Okay, so let's have a look at the sentence, first of all. So a training office at Delton Publishing, blank, together a schedule of workshops on managerial strategies, techniques, and blah, blah, blah. We don't need the rest of it, okay? So we can just focus on that part of the sentence. So again, very similar to our previous passage, we actually have two options that initially sound like they would be perfect in this situation. All right, so we could say the training office at Delton Publishing had put together a schedule, that's okay, or is putting together a schedule. That's also okay. So one is referring to something that happened in the past, and the other one is talking about a future plan. All right, both would be okay, so we have to keep reading. All right, so let's leave that one for a second. All right, moving on, 148. We'll come back to 147. Okay. Oh, very nice. Thank you for the answers. All right, let's have a look. So 148, we invite your suggestions is the correct answer. Very nice, which is A. Very nice, very nice. We invite your suggestions for topics that you think would benefit you in the performance of blah, blah. Very long sentences. Okay, yes, absolutely. So unfortunately, for 148, all of the options are nouns. So again, grammatically, we are not getting very much help in this case. They're all very, very similar. So we have to look in more detail at the context. So we invite your suggestions, which are basically ideas. So please tell us your ideas for topics that would benefit you. All right, so the other ones just simply don't make sense in that context based on their definition. So suggestions is the best option. Very nice. If we look at the second part of that sentence as well, so your suggestions for topics that you think would benefit you in the performance of your current job tasks, it's pretty clear now we're talking about a hypothetical situation. So something that hasn't happened yet because they used would benefit. Think about something that would benefit you in the performance of your current job task. So we can go back up to 147. It's clear it hasn't happened in the past because it's a hypothetical statement. So it has to be the one about the future, which is B. All right, so we're looping around again. So back to 147. The training office at Delton Publishing is putting together a schedule. So they're making a plan. They're currently doing this. So please give us your input, is what they're asking. All right, and the last one, 149. The answer is also B. Very nice. The answer is B. All right. This one's pretty straightforward in terms of grammar, so it's a conditional statement. So if you have any interesting idea for a workshop, please submit it via email to the training office by March 15th. All right. So if you have an idea, please let me know. It's very similar to what I've been saying. If you have a comment, please put it in the comment section. Same kind of statement, same kind of conditional statement. All right. Very nice. Thank you, thank you. All right. Moving on, we have one more for today, and then we'll have some time to either take up questions if you have any questions, or we can try part of the second TOEIC test as well. All right, so we got one more section for part 6. All right, here we go. So 150, 151, and 152. Let me check my time. Ready? Go ahead. Okay, sorry to interrupt. So that was another 1 minute and 30 seconds. Okay, let's talk about it together. So 150, let's have a look. So we're reading a memo in this case. It's kind of got the format of an email as well. There's a name at the top and some information about something business related. So it's a memo or email. All right, so 150, let's start with the sentence first of all. So to allow us to take advantage of this increase, the factory, blah, a number of significant changes. All right, so very similar to the last 3 passages that we've done, this one, the one before, there are actually 2 that grammatically would fit this situation. So we could say the factory underwent a number of significant changes, all right, which is past tense, or the factory will undergo a number of significant changes, which is the future. So both are okay. So again, we need to check, when is this email being written? All right, when did we get this email? When did we get this memo? So let's leave 150. Let's put a big question mark there. We will come back to that. Okay, so 151, moving on. Oh, nice answers. Thank you so much. All right. Oh, it's really, really close, actually. All right. So let's have a look. 151. 151 is really tricky, okay? So we have already ordered the something equipment, but we will need to rearrange the existing machines. Something, 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 okay? Unfortunately, wait for it, 151 is actually A, all right? This is very difficult, actually, because further sounds very, very similar to additional. The meaning is actually the same. The meaning is the same. The only difference is what kind of nouns they support. So the word additional, let's have a look in the comment section. So additional is usually used for different kinds of physical nouns. So in this case, they're talking about equipment. Equipment is something physical, something you can touch. It's tangible. All right. So we need some additional furniture. We need some additional decorations, for example, additional equipment. So it's often used for physical nouns. The word further, on the other hand, it does have the same meaning in terms of adding. If you look it up in a dictionary, they're actually synonyms. However, further is often used for non-physical nouns. Non-physical nouns. So for example, there will be some further trouble if this typhoon hits. There will be more trouble, for example. Trouble. You can't really touch trouble. It's not really physical. For example, further increases. We expect some further increases of students, for example. We expect, or we want to go a further distance when you're running. I don't know, something like that. So non-physical nouns, that's the most important thing. They're often paired with nouns that you cannot touch. Further increase, further distance, further measurements, for example. All right, so in this situation, because they used equipment, we can use additional. All right, that's a very tricky one. All right, thank you though. And the last one is 152, which is D. Yes, absolutely, very nice. Good work. So we appreciate your cooperation during this time. All right. The way we know it's cooperation is because of the reference to flexibility. Your flexibility will help make the project a success. So cooperating sounds like you are overcoming some kind of a difficult situation in order to get along with someone, to cooperate with someone. So flexibility is very similar to that. So you cannot be stubborn. You have to be flexible. You have to take what comes to you. All right, so we appreciate your cooperation. It's also a very, very common phrase used at the end of emails or at the end of memos when you're announcing some kind of difficult change. So we appreciate your cooperation in this matter, for example. So very nice. Yes, 152 would be D. The answer is D. Very nice. Okay. Great work so far. All right, let's take a stretch. Okay, very nice. So at this point, we've got about 10, 15, 14 minutes left. So if you have any questions about something we just covered, because I've been going quite fast with my explanations, please leave me a comment and we can take the time to go back and talk about it in more detail. All right. If there was a particularly difficult one, please let me know and we can talk about it together. All right. So please think about that for a second. If I don't get any comments in the next minute or so, because I'm factoring in the time lag here. If I don't get any comments, if within the next minute or so, we can move on to the second test and we can try at least the first reading passage from the second test as well. All right. At this point, I would also like to say, if you have any questions from, for example, yesterday's section, part 5, or even part 4, because we all have the textbook in front of us, please let me know, and we can go back and discuss it. Things have been quite rushed up until now, all right? So we've got a couple minutes here to sort of catch up with each other, all right? So have a look back at your notes. If you have anything you want to ask me, please do that now. All right, and I will have a look at the second part. Let me just find the page number for part 2. I'll keep an eye on the comment section. All right, part 2. Test 2. Nothing yet. Is anybody going on a business trip tomorrow or at the end of this week? I'm a little worried about this storm that's coming in. Okay. Oh, found part 2. Here we go. Test 2, I should say. There we go. All right. Nothing in the comment section. All right. So, all right. I am ready to go with the second test in your textbook. All right. So if everybody is feeling comfortable, if everybody's ready for round 2, we can do a little bit from the second TOEIC test. All right. So I found the page. It's page 96. Page 96. All right. Part 6, test 2, page 96 in your textbook. All right. So let's have a look. Let me grab my timer. All right. So same idea. Oh, we got a question. Okay. Let me answer to question 150. Yes, absolutely. 150. Oh, I just lost my page. Hang on. 150. I just moved my bookmark. Yes, thank you very much. Thank you for asking. 150 is... Where's our question here? Oh, there we go. Ah, yes. Thank you for reminding me. 150 is something we had to come back for. So 150 is C. Thank you very much. Yes. Don't let that happen on the test. If you forget to answer a question, you have to go back and answer it. Sorry about that. Yeah, thank you very much. So how do we know that? The answer is C, like you mentioned. Yes, thank you very much, Kana. Yes, the answer is C. The way we know that is from the second paragraph. So if we say, first, we are planning to double the number of computerized machines. So we are planning, which indicates that it is something that hasn't happened yet. It's going to happen in the future. Yes, so first we are planning to double the number of computerized machines. So we can match that with the future tense, which is C. The factory will undergo a number of changes. All right. Very nice job, though. Thank you. Thank you for reminding me. Okay. Great work. I should also mention, as you probably know, if you leave something blank during the reading passage, you can always go back and fill it in after you've made it all the way through the test. All right, so if there's some particularly difficult ones, that are taking up a lot of your time, you should move on, particularly during the reading section. You should just move on. Don't let them confuse you. Don't let them distract you. Move on. Get as many points as you can from the ones that you are more confident about, and leave yourself some time at the end to go back and answer any questions that you left blank. All right. That also applies to the listening section, as I'm sure everyone is aware. On the TOEIC test, you should not leave any answers blank. All right. Just based on the statistics, you have a 25% chance of getting it right, even if you really have no idea which one to choose. Even if you choose blindly, there's a pretty good chance that you will get it. All right. So don't leave any blank. Every question counts. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you, Kana. All right. Sorry about that, everybody. All right. We've still got a couple of minutes. So if there are no other questions from the first test at the moment, let's go back. Let's go back to the second test. All right. I'm going to find my page again. 96. Well, that was faster. Good. All right. Page 96. All right. Let's give it a try. Okay. All right. So no more comments are popping up. So let's move on. We'll do the first passage from the second test. All right. Here we go. So you got one and a half minutes. 1 minute, 30 seconds. And let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Go ahead. Okay, sorry to cut you off. Alrighty. Let's have a look together. So, this one's a little bit different. It's a notice. It says it's a notice, so kind of like a public service bulletin. Very similar to some of the options that we've seen in past sections. All right, so once again, you can start with the blank area and work outwards. So let's have a look. The term general admission refers to seating in areas of Flagstaff Arena, just the name of the arena. Blank seats are not assigned individually, but are obtained on a first come, first served basis. All right, so what do you think? Is it A, B, C, or D? Any ideas? It's actually C. Let me type that up for you. 141C. All right. The way we know that is because we're talking about a location. All right. Oops. Very, very close. All right. We're talking about a location referring to seating areas of Flagstaff Arena. So, for example, if we turn it into a question, we could turn it into a question, where are the seats not available? Or where are the seats not assigned? My apologies. Where are the seats not assigned? They are assigned in this area where the seats are not assigned. All right, so we can make it into a question and then flip it back around. And we're talking about a location, so that's a good indication that it's a WH where question. All right, nice work though. Let's try the second one, 142. 142. So please respect. Please be respectful of your fellow event blank. Allow them to find general admission seating. So this is kind of interesting. It says your fellow event people. So we obviously need a noun, and actually A, B, C, and D are all different kinds of people. They're all different kinds of nouns. Organizers, attendees, performers, sponsors. All right, so basically we need to determine who is this notice for? Who are you as the reader? Who is being addressed? So the answer is actually B. It's actually B. So grammatically, all of them would work. All of them would be fine grammatically. However, it would be attendees, as in people who are attending the event at the arena. So if you were a sponsor, you would be assigned a seat. That's the main difference. If you're a sponsor, you're more important, so you probably would not be receiving a notice about the general admission seating. So you have to be really careful about the context in this situation. All right, it's a very tricky one. Thank you. Let's have a look at the last one, 143. So let's look at that whole section. It's a long sentence. So please also note that the amount of general admission seating varies from one event to the next, and at some events it is blank altogether. All right, so they're phrasing it as kind of a negative statement. Please note, so like please remember, kind of sounds like a warning. So they're warning you about something slightly negative. All right, so you can look through the list, A, B, C, and D. They all sound quite negative because they have an unavailable, unwilling, unsuccessful, unconcerned. The answer is actually A. In this case, 143A. All right, so unavailable just means that there are no seats that are provided for you at such an event. All right, so they're saying general admission seating is not always there for you. It's sometimes unavailable altogether. All right, unfortunately, it wouldn't be C, unsuccessful. Unsuccessful is used when talking about an action. So for example, I tried to run the marathon, but I was unsuccessful because I dropped out. Not a true story. I have never run the marathon. But just as an example, I tried to do something as an action, and I didn't do it. I failed to do it, which means I was unsuccessful. All right. In this case, they're talking about the seats themselves. Are they there or are they not there? So it's not really an action. You're talking about the noun, the seats themselves. So we would say the seats are unavailable. All right. Nice work, though. Thank you for the inputs. All right. And that takes us to the top of the hour, pretty much. So again, if you have any questions or comments about today, please leave us a comment even when the video is finished. Thank you so much for your input. I hope everyone has a great evening. We covered a lot of information today, so thank you very much for your attention. All right, I hope everyone stays dry in this rainy weather, and I will see you back again tomorrow for our last session. We will talk about part 7 of the TOEIC test tomorrow evening. All right, thank you so much. Have a great day. I will see you in 24 hours. See you then. Bye for now.